शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. Now we are continuing the discussion. I think last time we discussed the first part of this the second mantra. We have not started. So today we will deal with that part. Abhidhana abhideyayoho ekatve api. That is the subject we have to deal with. So in the last session we discussed the text of the first mantra. Om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam tasya upavyakhyanam bhudam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarvam omkarameva yaccha anyatrikanatidam tadabi omkareva. That was completed. The last sentence was yaccha anyatrikanatidam karyadhigamyam kala aparichhedyam avyakrudadi tadabi omkareva. We already completed that. Now continuing. Abhidhana abhideyoho ekatve api abhidhana pradhanyena nirdeshakritah om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam ityadi. Now an important subject is discussed here. In the first mantra om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam, the exposition was giving prominence to abhidhana. That is why, abhidhana pradhanyena nirdeshakritah om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam ityadi. All these constitute om. Everything is om. So om is abhidhana, we should remember, and the entire existence is abhideya. Abhideya means what is denoted, what is implied, what is indicated, what is referred to by a particular name. That is called abhideya. And abhidhana itself is the name or the word or the letter that is used to indicate that object. So though abhidhana and abhideya are the same, again you have to remember ekatve api. That the one reality, but we should remember abhidhana and abhideya do not constitute an important entity here. Padartha, pada and artha, nama and rupa. So they are by themselves not very important. But the purpose is to establish the principle of Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So this Mithya Jagat consists of abhidhana and abhideya, pada and artha, vak and vajya, nama and rupa. So though they constitute the same, still they do not constitute the central theme of the discussion. That we'll find out very soon. Abhidhana abhideyoho ekatve api abhidhana pradhanyena nirdeshakritah. So why this mantra, the Upanishad text, begins with Om, abhidhana pradhanyena? Because the central theme of the first mantra itself is Om idi edadaksharamidam sarvam. all that you find everywhere is nothing but Omkara. That is the text. So Omkara is given importance here. Abhidhana or Nama or Vachaka or is given important here. Pada, not Artha. So why the text begins like that? This is an important discussion. Abhidhana pradhanena nidishtasya punaha abhideya pradhanena nidesha. That is a reference to second mantra. The second mantra, if you look, you find Sarvam ki edat Brahma. That is abhideya pradhana. Means where the focus is on Brahman. That is abhideya. The second mantra is abhideya pradhana. And the first mantra is Abhidhana Pradhana. Why? After indicating the sameness or the identity of Abhidhana and Abhideya, and then after beginning the mantra with Abhidhana Pradhana, that is giving emphasis to Om, that is the Pada. In the second mantra, why Punaha Abhideya Pradhanena Nirdesha Krita? Why the second mantra Sarvam Ki Edat Brahma? Why the second mantra begins like that? The purpose is Abhidhana Abhideyoku Ekattu Pradipatyarthaka. That is only to emphasize the point that Abhidhana and Abhideya constitute the same. And there is a logical reason for it. Vedanta tells you that both Abhidhana and Abhideya, Nama and Rupa, then all the Padarthas are nothing but Aropida, means are all imposed upon Brahman. They do not have real identity or existence. But they should be discarded slowly. So in order to establish the reality of Brahman, this particular method is employed by the Upanishads. That is Bhashyakara's viewpoint, exposition. That is why Abhidhana pradhanena nirdeshtasya punaha abhideya pradhanena nirdesha. So the same idea that we expounded as Abhidhana pradhana in the first mantra is now in the second mantra emphasized with giving prominence to Abhideya. And the purpose is Abhidhana Abhideya Ekattu Pratipattihi. To make clear, to emphasize the point, to bring out the knowledge that Abhidhana and Abhideya are practically the same. Again, when we use an expression like pada and artha, a word and that word, what that word indicates are the same, we should remember that is only problem of language. In philosophy, problem of language is a very important subject of discussion. Language cannot clearly, completely indicate a doctrine or an idea or a principle. Every word, every expression is only an approximation, it is only an attempt to explain what it wants to, what it seeks to explain. Really speaking, a word cannot completely 100% imply what it wants to explain. So every word, every definition, every expression is only an approximation. So that's why we mentioned in the last class that when we mentioned Agni, the word, that is Abhidhana, and Agni, the Abhideya, the real fire, are not the same in experience. But at the same time, they do not have independent existence. When you utter the word Agni or fire, immediately your mind will be automatically going to Agni. Just a minute, is okay?
It's okay, Maharaj.
Then what are you doing there?
We're just adjusting the volume a little.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's an important point to remember. Though Abhidhana, Abhideya, Egattu, Pratipatti is the purpose here, the Egattu, Pratipatti, the understanding of the unity or identity should be understood as something conditioned by the fact that when you utter the word Agni, you don't feel heat in your mouth, or when you utter the word ice, let us say, you don't feel cold in your mouth. That's the difference is there. But then they do not exist independent of each other. Everything, every bit of thought, every idea has a corresponding counterpart at the level of Sabda Prapancha. There is a corresponding word which always is always existing with what it wants to explain. So that should be understood. Itaratha, why? What's the problem? Why should the Upanishad begin with Abhidhana Pradhana? Itaratha, hi Abhidhana Tantra Abhideya Pratipattihi Abhideyasya Abhidhanatvam Gaunam iti Ashanka. Otherwise, there is a problem, there is a possibility of misunderstanding. Itaratha, otherwise, Abhidhana Tantra Abhideya Pratipatti. See, Abhideya is Shabdadhina, you should remember. In the sense, Abhideya is Abhidhana Tantra. When I utter the word watch, immediately, if I have seen a watch any time, that form of the watch will come to my mind. Even if I utter a word which I cannot really associate with any visible reality, still a vague understanding of what we don't know will always there within us. Let us say you utter the word Siberia. You may not have gone to Siberia, but when you utter the word Siberia, immediately some kind of a place or something will always flash in your mind, which means every word will be followed by a corresponding reality that the word seeks to refer to. So that's why Abhidhana Tantra Abhideya Pratipatti. Abhidhana Tantra means Shabdadhina. Abhideya is Shabdadhina. Therefore, there may be a misunderstanding. Abhideyasya Abhidhanatam Gaunamiti Ashankasyat. So, since every word automatically will be followed by something that the word indicates, there is always a possibility that you are using the expression that Abhidhana and Abhideya are the same, only in a secondary sense. It is Gauna, not Mukhya. So that is the real purpose of beginning with Abhidhana. Suppose you say Sarvam Khedat Brahma. Suppose the Upanishad begins like this. Let us imagine. I have to make clear this point, this subtle point. Suppose first the Upanishad begins Sarvam Ki Edat Brahma. Suppose it begins. Then you say Om Sarvamidi, etc. You mean. First suppose you mention Abhideya first, the object first. And then you bring a word, Omkara. Then there will be a serious misunderstanding. What's a misunderstanding? You are giving importance to object, and then that object has got this particular name. So in that case, and that object can have any other names also. So there is a possibility that Abhidhana, Abhideya, Egattum, the identity or oneness of Abhidhana and Abhideya is only secondary. That expression is only in a secondary sense, not primary sense. It is only Gaunartha, not Mukhyartha. Why all these ideas are mentioned here? We should remember. The Bhashyakara finally wants to tell you both Abhidhana and Abhideya constitute this Dvaita Prapancha. Nama and Rupa constitute Dvaita Prapancha. And whatever you find in this world in terms of nama, and whatever you find in the world in the terms of rupa, the object, they are practically the same thing, in the sense both are relative, both are mithya. So you should look beyond what is mithya, and you should get an understanding of what is paramartha. So it is always better to understand the whole Dvaita Prapancha as one entity, and then recognize their mithyatvam. Otherwise, the world consists of innumerable trillions of entities with trillions of words, and you cannot take one after another, you cannot take and then analyze and dismiss them as mithya. But suppose you take the entire creation, Nitya Jagat, as consisting of nama and rupa, and then finally come to the understanding that nama and rupa constitute the same, abhidhana and abhideya constitute the same, and then you dismiss or this abhidhana abhideya dvaita prapancha as something mithya, something relative, and then through vichara, through proper Vedantic understanding, then you will get a real understanding of Paramartha. So it is for this purpose. Slowly the Bhashyakara will say. In fact, those of you are interested, you can refer. This idea is frequently taken by Dvaita philosophers, because you have to remember, in Dvaita tradition, everything has got an independent existence. Suppose you have got 10,000 vessels, glasses, pots and pans made of clay. In Dvaita Siddhanta, you know what it means? Every clay pot is different from every clay jar. But Vedanta will tell you both are actually clay only. So, Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam murtigatyeva satyam. That's an important text, Sruti Vachana, in this particular context. That is the guiding Sruti text for this part of the Bhashya. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam murtigatyeva satyam. Murtiga eva satyam. Clay alone is the reality, and then pots, pans, glasses, vessels, jars, all made of the same clay, are only Vacharambhana, means Vachalambana. Different names and forms depending upon variation in terms of names, that's all. Names and forms, that's all. So that's why, you have to remember, in the Dvaita Siddhanta, there is Pancha Bheda Siddhanta, that is difference between Ishvara and Jagat, difference between Ishvara and Jiva, and difference between Jiva and Jagat, difference between different entities within Jiva world, and differences between different entities in Jagat. So practically 5 types of differences. So that is an important point. This part of the text is used by later Vedantins like Madhusudana and others to refute the views put forward by Dvaita Siddhanta, is like Vyasatirtha's Nyayanga and all that. So that's why Jiveshwara Bhida Chaiva, Jadeshwara Bhida Tatha, Jiva Bhedo Mithas Jada Jiva Bhida Tatha, Mithascha Jada Bhedoyam Prapancho Bheda Panchakaha, Soyam Satyo Hyanadischa Sadischi Nasamapnuyat. So that is that Bheda Panchakam. So if you do not understand Abhidhana and Abhideya as constituting the same Dvaita Prapancha, and then you leave aside this Dvaita Prapancha, if you don't do that, then what happens? You have to take every entity, everything in this world and then dismiss it one after another, which is impossible. So Bhashyakara says the Upanishad first of all wants to drive home the central idea that Abhidhana and Abhideya constitute the same entity called Dvaita Prapancha. So that's Itaradhahi Abhidhana Tantra Abhideya Pradivatihi. Idi Abhideyasya Abhidhanatum Gaunam Idi Ashankasya. This possible doubt, this possible interpretation, Ashanka, this could have arisen if you do not first give prominence to Abhidhana and then Abhideya, and finally you state both are equally unreal and you go beyond it. That's what at the end of the text you find. Ekatva Pratipattescha Prayojanam Abhidhana Abhideyohu Ekainaiva Prayatnena Yugubat Pravilapayan Tat Vilakshanam Brahma Pratipadyeda iti. So here the Prayojanam is mentioned. Ekatva Pratipattescha. What is Ekatva Pratipattescha? What it means? Shabda and Artha, Abhidhana and Abhideya, both constitute superimposition on Brahman. Both are superimpositions. Abhidhana and Abhideya both constitute superimposition on Brahman. That is Ekatva Pratipattescha. So once you understand the Ekatvam, the oneness of all these different kinds of superimpositions, then what happens, prayojana, abhidhana, abhideyo, ekenaiva prayatnena. Then what happens with one single effort, that's through vichara, a person who is established in sadhana sadushta sampatti and sravana marana can then immediately with one effort very easily dismiss the entire Abhidhana Abhideya Prapancha, Dvaita Prapancha with one effort, or they are totally unreal. They are unreal in the sense, remember, unreal, that's all needs to be explained. Vedanta doesn't consider Dvaita Prapancha as asat. So unreal is a word used because, there is always the problem of language when you try to explain high philosophy through words, especially in the foreign language. So unreal here should be understood as meaning relative. Mithya means relative. Mithya is not asat. It is not absolute unreality. But because it is not absolute unreality and it is not absolute reality, it is only relative. So the entire Abhidhana Abhideya Prapancha can be dismissed, can be transcended after you realize their mithyatvam with a single effort. Otherwise, you have to take every single entity in the world and then you have to go on dismissing them, realizing their mithyatvam. Instead of that, the entire Dvaita Prapancha, as Madhvacharya, so Madhva Siddhantin say, the Veda Panchakam, the entire Dvaita Prapancha, they all constitute Abhidhana, Abhideya, Nama, Rupa, construct. And they can be transcended and dismissed as mithya. And that is the prayojanam, that is the real purpose, that is the real advantage of this particular structure of the Upanishad, which begins with an Abhidhana Pradhanam statement, that is Om Ityeti Aksharamidam Sarvam, it is Abhidhana Pradhanam, and then it is followed by Sarvam Hi Etat Brahma, that is Abhideya Pradhanam. Otherwise, the whole concept of oneness of Abhidhana Abhideya construct will be misunderstood to be Gaunam, means it is only a secondary statement. What is Gaunam? That you read in the Bhashyakara, I will tell you later. It is, suppose a king in the Tika and the Tika and the other Tika, they will say a king has got a servant, and the servant is very prominent. There are many servants who appear to be more prominent than kings themselves, unfortunately, in the world. So you find a servant or maybe a subordinate may appear to be more prominent than his boss. So people may call that subordinate, or you are the king, you are the boss. That is not a mukyartha, it is only gaunartha. So like that, such a misunderstanding could arise. In order to avoid that misunderstanding, in order to drive home, emphasize the idea of Abhidhana Abhideya Ekatvam, the Upanishad begins with Abhidhana Pradhana statement, Om Ityeti Raksharam Idam Sarvam. Then it is followed by Abhideya Pradhana statement, Sarvam Hi Edad Brahma. So Ekenaiva Prayatnena. What is Ekenaiva Prayatnena? Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahma Vanapara. So once you realize the Mithyatva of this Dvaita Prapancha, Abhidhana Abhideya Prapancha, then you can easily realize, you can easily understand Brahma Satyam. That could be easily understood when you transcend Mithya Jagat. Yugapat Pravilapayan. So Pravilapa means here Nisheda Badha. That's the meaning of Pravilapa. Means it's one effort, at one stroke, you can, through a vichara, in Vedanta vichara is the important thing. Sadhana Sadushta Sampatti, after attaining Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivega, Yugamutra Phalabhoga Viraga, Samadhi Sarka Sampatti, Mumukshutva, Sravana and Manana. And through this vichara, if a person is fully established in all these 7 qualifications, including Nididhyasana, then one Sravana itself is enough, not otherwise. So that's called Sabda Parakshavada, which is a view followed by Sureshwara in his Brihadaranyaka Vartika, and Padmapada in Panchapadika, and then Prakashatmaya in Panchapadika Vivarana, it's called actually Vivarana Prasthana. So both Vartika Prasthana Sureshwara and Vivarana Prasthana Prakashatman and Padmapada, they all accept the idea that if a person is fully established in Sadhana Sadushta Sampatti and Sravana Manana Nididhyasana, can immediately transcend Mithya Jagat. It is called Sabda Aparokshvada. Means the moment you hear Sabda, you get Aparokshanubhuti in that sense. In contrast to Prasankhyanavada, which is a contrasting school which is followed by Vajaspati Misra. It's called Bhamadi Prasthana. But they say you cannot get Aparokshanubhuti when you listen to these ideas. You have to continue a long practice of Karma Yoga, Upasana, Puja, all these, plus Vichara, Jnana Karma Samuchaya. There is some kind of a Jnana Karma Samuchaya, different from Bhakti Prapancha school. That's the view of Bhamadi Prasthana. It's called Prasankhyanavada. Prasankhyanavada means Dhyanabhyasa. But ultimately, both schools boil down to the same conclusion. If you are fully fit, you get Anubhuti. Once you get this understanding, and then it becomes easy for you to transcend this level of Mithya Jagat. You can find this in the examples of Sri Ramakrishna's life, and according to many Shankaracharya, Shankaracharya himself immediately realized the reality when he got instruction from Govinda Bhagapada. You can find this among the highest adhikaris in the world. Todapuri could immediately transmit the realization to Sri Ramakrishna, because Sri Ramakrishna was fully established in all these Sadhana Sadushta Sampatti, Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. So immediately when Tattvamasi Mahavakya was given, Aham Brahmasmi Anubhuti became an immediate experience, Aparokshanubhuti. But this happens only for the highest adhikaris. So in the Bhashya, that's why this is Ekenaiva Prayatnena Yugavat Pravilapaya Tad Vilakshanam Brahma. Tad Vilakshanam Brahma means what? Tad Vilakshanam. Brahma is Vilakshanam, Tad Vilakshanam. It is distinct and different from this Abhidhana Abhideya Prapancha. That means Dvaita Vilakshanam. So once a person realizes the Abhidhana Abhideya Ekatvam, then it becomes easy for him to dismiss this Abhidhana Abhideya Dvaita Prapancha with a single effort without much strain. And he will be able to realize Brahman. That is Vilakshanam means Shabdartha Vilakshanam. Abhidhana Abhideya Vilakshanam, in that sense. Brahma Pratibadhyeda iti. That's the real purpose. So Prayojanam is established here. Tadhacha Vakshadi Pada Matra Matrascha Pada. Pada here means Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. Of course, Vishwa Taijasa Prajna and Turiya. Turiya really doesn't belong to this category of Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. Turiya is not it is called a pada, but it is not a pada in the same sense in which Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna are called padas. So that according to Vyakarana Shastram, every Gamanartha dhatu, every dhatu which has got Gamanartham has got two meanings. One is Karanartha, the other is Karmartha. So according to Vedanins, Chadushpatam, see you find in the last sentence, in the second mantra, Soyamatma Chadushpat. So Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. Of course, I already explained this in the beginning. No need to repeat. Vishwa in the Jagrat state, Taijasa in Swapna state, and Prajna in Susupti state. So we have to remember these three constitute padas, but here pada is used in a different sense. So padyate anena idi pada, something that is used to reach, to attain a higher goal. That's the real meaning of pada in the context of Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. That is called Karanartha, an instrument, a means. But Turiya is also indicated by the word pada. But here Padhadu is used in a different sense. So Padyate Jnayate iti pada. Because Turiya is not an instrument. It is the object, it is the ultimate goal. So Turiya is also a pada, but here the dhadu artha is different. Padyate Jnayate iti pada. In the context of Turiya, Padyate anena iti pada. In the context of Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. So in the Bhashya pada, it is also a mantra from the same Upanishad. Pada means Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. That's the meaning here. Matra, akara, ukara, makara. So Vishwa equates akara, Taijasa equates ukara, and Prajna corresponds to makara. So that mantra is referred to here, recited, pada, matra, matrascha pada, etc. So I think it's clear. If you have got anything to ask, you can ask. So some other important points mentioned here is all shabdas are different expressions of the same shabda Omkara. So there is abhedatvam for all shabdas with Omkara. And then the purpose of the text beginning with Omkara is to give importance to Abhidhana first and then to Abhideya. Now we come to the second mantra of the Upanishads. Sarvam hi edad Brahma, ayamatma Brahma, soyamatma chaduspad. So there is a Mahavakya here. So all Mahavakyas are used to give or eventually lead to Aparokshanubhuti. So in this particular bhashya you find Aparoksha Jnanam, Aparokshanubhuti is explained using a particular term which is different from its dictionary meaning, Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha in this particular context doesn't mean direct perception or Indriya Pratyaksha. It means Aparoksha. So I will come to the bhashya. Sarvam hi edad Brahma iti. Now we are beginning the bhashya. Sarvam yaduktam. Yaduktam is refers to the previous mantra. Omkara matram iti. So all shabdas, all arthas constitute the same, but all shabdas are nothing but different expressions of Omkara. That is first mantra. Tadedat Brahma. That is the second mantra. Tacha Brahma Paroksha Bhihitam Pratyakshado Visheshena Nirdishyati. This is an important part of the bhashya because it deals with Mahavakya. So Mahavakya is the four Mahavakyas, most of you know, but just repeat. Aham Brahmasmi is Upadeshavakya, it comes in Brihadaranyaka. And Tattvamasi is Upadeshavakya. Tattvamasi, Upadeshavakya. It comes in the Chandogya Upanishad, Samaveda, the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. The 6th chapter of Chandogya has got 16 khanda sections, of which from 8 to 16, in 9 khandas, there is an elaborate exposition of Tattvamasi. It's called Upadeshavakya. So, one Upadesha, then 8 repetitions with 8 udaharanas, drishtantas. So, I will go into those details later. Tattvamasi is more elaborately discussed in some of the portions of the bhashya later, but not now. So, remember, you have to remember this. Tattvamasi is Upadeshavakya. It is the statement of instruction. So, Uddalaka instructs Shvetaketu. As I mentioned, the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, from 9th section, 9th khanda to 16th khanda, in 9 khandas there is an exposition. The first Upadesha comes in the 9th section, and then it is repeated 8 times, the total 8 statements. In the Chandogya, and that is the Upadeshavakya. Aham Brahmasmi is Anubhuti Vakya. Aham Brahmasmi, it comes in the Brihadaranyaka, in the Yajurveda. So, now between these two Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi Upadesha and Aham Brahmasmi Anubhuti, between these two, there are 2 Mahavakyas, Ayamatma Brahma and Prajnanam Brahma. So they constitute Anusandhana, Lakshana and so on. So a spiritual seeker should try to dig deeper into the meaning of Upadesha he receives, Tattvamasi, with the help of these 2 Mahavakyas, Prajnanam Brahma, which is in Aitareya with the Rigveda mantra, and Ayamatma Brahma, which is in Atharvaveda, is a Mandukya Upanishad mantra. So Ayamatma Brahma comes between Upadesha and Anubhuti. So that is the importance of this Mahavakya. Ayamatma Brahma iti. Ayam iti chadushpatvena Pravibhajyamanam pratyegatmataya abhinayena nirdishyati ayamatma iti. So please remember, pratyakshado visheshena. What is pratyakshada here? Pratyakshado visheshena here means when you use the word Brahman, Atman, etc., it is only paroksha. So you come to the bhashya, tacha Brahma paroksha bhihitam. So normally when we read scriptures, when we discuss, we use the word Brahman, Atman, Paramatma, etc. Even Omkara itself cannot fully explain Brahman. Omkara is also an approximation. It is called Mukhya Sruti. The entire Vedas, Upanishads constitute Gauna Sruti. But Omkara itself is only penultimate state. Even Mahavakyas also constitute approximations of penultimate stages. Anubhuti beyond all this. So that's why Tacha Brahma Paroksha Bhigidam. Paroksha Bhigidam. We may try to explain, we may try to understand Brahman as Atma, Paramatma, Brahma, etc. These are all Paroksha. That reality should be indicated pratyakshado visheshena nirdishyati. It should be clearly indicated. The clear indication that so that we will get an intimate, immediate, aparoksha knowledge. For that purpose, Ayam Atma Brahma iti. So that is the purpose of, that is the function of the Mahavakya statement, Ayam Atma Brahma. What was earlier understood or explained in a paroksha way, in an indirect way, that is Brahma, Atma, Paramatma, etc. That should be pratyakshada visheshena. That should be clearly, with an immediate, in an immediate manner, without mediate entities. Visheshena Vishati. So here pratyakshada means avaroksha. So that is, it's only in this context it comes. Yet sakshat avaroksha Brahma, you find in Brihadaranyaka statement. There, the meaning is, it is not pratyaksha. Atman cannot be clearly understood. It cannot be understood at a sensate level. So, in the normal context, according to Naiyayikas and others, pratyaksha is the first pramana, direct perception. Pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, sabda, artha, bhatya, anuvilabdhi, etc. So, pratyaksha means something that is within your akshi level, between your, that is perceivable. It's a direct perception. That is not the meaning of pratyakshato here. Here, the meaning is aparokshanubhuti is the real implication of the word pratyakshado visheshena nirdishyati, so that it becomes an experience to you. So any number of scriptures you use, either Brahma, Atma, Mahavakya, etc., it's all paroksha bhidam, indirect. But it should be clearly indicated to you in an aparoksha, so that you will reach aparoksha anubhuti. For that purpose, Ayam Atma Brahma, the Mahavakya is included here. Ayam Atma Brahma hidi. So what is the meaning? We'll explain. Ayam iti chadushpatvena pravibhajyamanam. So that you explain. Ayam, first ayam. What is the meaning of ayam? Chadushpatvena. Chadushpat. That is Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, Turiya. You should remember, both are called Chadushpad. But the word Pada means different in the context of Turiya. It has got one meaning in the context of Turiya, another meaning in the context of Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. So here Mahavakya is explained here. Ayam, What it means? Pointing out. Iti chadushpatvena pravibhajyamanam pratyagatmadaya abhinayena nirdishyati ayamatma iti. So one should understand Atman as oneself, self capital yes. One's own Swarupa, not as Brahman or Atman. So that's why Abhinayena, pointing to yourself. That's the purpose of the Mahavakya. So I am pointing to yourself, your own self. Pratyagatmataya. Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, but one's own antaryami in that sense, pratyagatmataya. So that reality, that Atman is one's own, our own Swarupa. Not as something you call Brahman, Atman, etc. That's only approximations. That's good. But the Pratyaksha Nirdesha means an indication that takes you to the Aparokshanubhuti. For that, this Mahavakya, Ayamiti Chadushpatvenan Prayubhajyamanam. You call Vishwa, Daidasa, Prajna, Turiya, etc. These are all Paroksha statements. That should be given in a Pratyaksha manner, means direct or immediate. It should be understood as one's own Swarupa, one's own Antaryami. Not something that you see with your eyes, but it is the real I. Abhinayena, so the particular gesture of the hand which you put yourself, that's meaning here. Nirdishyati ayamatma, this I iti. Soyamatma onkara vidheyaka parabharatvena vivasthidaka chadushpad kashapanavat na gauriva. Okay, now this Atma, that is this Atman that we understood as our own real Antaryami, our own Swarupa, which is the Abhidheya of Onkara and which exists as Parabrahman, Aparat Brahman, that is Para, Aparatva, Vyavasthitaka, Chadushpad. Why Chadushpad? So that is explained, Karshapanavat, na Gauriva. So Karshapana. Karshapana was it is a coin, it's a coin frequently used in ancient India. So maybe it roughly corresponds to some kind of a coin which has got 4 quarters. So in short I will tell you, then you can listen to the Bhashya. Suppose a coin has got 4 quarters. Four in his, let's say, 1/4 of a Karshapana, 1/2 or 3/4, 25%, 50%, 75%, and then of course 100%. So if you have got let's say half Karshapana coin, that includes 1/4 also is included in 1/2. If you have got a coin that is 3/4 of a Karshapana, then that 3/4, that particular coin, that 3/4 Karshapana, it includes quarter and also 1/2 plus 3/4. Suppose you have got one full coin Karshapana, it contains 1/4, half, 3/4. So all these coins are included in the big one coin, or the 1 rupee, 4 annas, 8 annas, like that, So if you have got 1 rupee, it contains one 4 annas coin, one 8 annas coin, and also maybe 75% of the 1 rupee, all included in 1 rupee. So that is one way of understanding. Another way of understanding is the 4 feet of a cow. There is a difference between these two. 4 feet of the cow, each foot is different and distinct from each other foot. They are not related. They are all independent entities. That is Dvaita Siddhanta, Panchabheda Siddhanta. But in the context of Karshapana, the half coin contains 1/4, and 3/4 includes 1/4, half, and one full coin includes 1/4, half, and also 3/4. So the previous one is included in the following one. So that is the context of understanding Chatuspath. That means Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. Let us say Vishwa merges with Taijasa and Taijasa merges with Prajna. So Prajna practically contains Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna also. And Turiya, all these eventually is included in Turiya. So Turiya is present in Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. The Turiya Atma is present when you are in Jagrat state, when Vishwa perceives different things. And the same Turiya is present in Swapna state. As Taijasa, you perceive different things. And the same Turiya is present in Prajna state, in deep sleep, Sushupti. So, Turiya is the one reality that transcends all the other 3 states, but present in all the 3 states, distinct from all the 3 states, but still present in all the 3 states. Without Turiya Atma functioning at the gross level, understanding and perceiving things at the Sthula level called Vishwa, the same Turiya Atma, Adrashta, experiencing things at the Sukshma level in Swapna states called Taijasa, the same Turiya in Sushupti level, it functions in a state of deep slumber. Mind shuts down, everything closes down. But you remember, after you wake up, you remember you had a wonderful sleep, which means that Turiya was present there. So Turiya is present in all the 3 states, still Turiya is distinct and transcends all the 3 states. So that is the context of this Udaharana here. So that's why Soyamatma, Omkara Vidheyaha, Paraparattvena Vyavasthidaha, Chadushpad, Karshapanavat. So Desha Visheshe Karshapana Shabdaha, Shodashapananam, Samjna, Tatra Tatha, Vyavahara Prachuryaya, Padagalpana Kriyade, Tatha Ika Api Ityartha. That is Anandagiri says. So that is, he says in ancient time there was a Desha Visheshe, Karshapana Samjna. See, there was a particular kind of coin with the name Karshapana. That's what I mean here. So we get information from Anandagiri. Tika. So that should be, that's the Karshapana, na Gauriva. So in the context of a cow which 4 feet, each foot is different from each other foot. They are not interrelated, they are separate and distinct and different. Trayanam Vishwadinam Purva Vilapanena Turiyasya Pradivatihi. So Trayanam Vishwadinam, Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. Purva Vilapanena. So Vishwa merges with Taijasa and Taijasa merges with Prajna. So Prajna includes Vishwa and Taijasa both. And they all merge in Turiya. So Purva Vilapanena. So previous one merging with the succeeding one. Turiyasya Pradipattihi. Iti Karana Sadhana. So Karana Sadhana has to be understood in the context of the first 3 padas, that is Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. the meaning of Pad Dhatu should be understood in Karanartha. That's the Vilpatti Shastra. You need to remember. So that's how words are analyzed and explained in light of grammatical rules. So Padyate Anena Idi Pada. Padyate Anena Idi means you reach slowly, you arrive, you attain state. In that sense, Padyate Gamyate. Pad Dhatu has got Gamanartha Dhatu. It means understanding, knowing, and also going, attaining, property in that sense also. So, Pradipati Karana Sadhanaka Pada Shabdaha Turiyasya tu Padyate iti Karma Sadhanaka Pada Shabdaha. In the context of Turiya, Padyate iti Karma Sadhanaka. This is a karma dhatu. It means Padyate Jnayate, the understanding, realizing. That's the meaning of Pada Shabda in the context of Turiya. Katham Chadushpatum Ityaha. So now we will have your class next Thursday. If you have got anything to ask, you are most welcome. Shanti, Shanti, Hari Om, Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.